Your DXY, the dollar has been ripping. All right, from down here, just going
That's
back to
right.
mid 2020. So basically, the last year, the dollar has had a massive currency move, which is usually causes gold to go down, and gold's actually held up beautifully. In fact, hitting that 2020 double top. So even in spite of that, gold is actually performing very, very well.
Gareth, I want to talk gold now with you. Like I said at the beginning, that was the best performing asset. This is what you're going on the record for in 2022, going to beat the S&P and Bitcoin.
Mhm.
And I had brought up a chart in my last interview with E.B. Tucker, which, because we don't really, Wall Street doesn't really talk much about gold, but I showed a chart going back to, March 2020
Mhm.
of basically how gold has outperformed the S&P, basically lapping it. But we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and you're right about that. And I think even one thing to mention about you're 100% right that gold is doing great. And number one, it's outperforming this year. I mean, think about what the Nasdaq is down this year. Bitcoin is down, and then gold. It may not be up a ton this year. It's up a very very
Well,
slight amount, but it is certainly positive for the year. And that's even after a pretty dramatic pullback here
right,
recently. But
right.
but I think it's yep.
No, no, not to cut you off. Sorry, Gareth. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't seem like it's doing much on a day to day, but if you zoom out, it's done pretty well,
Yes.
comparatively speaking. So,
It absolutely has, and I would even say it's done even better due to this factor. Look at your DXY. Your DXY, the dollar has been ripping. All right, from down here, just going
that's
back to
right.
mid 2020. So basically, the last year, the dollar has had a massive currency move, which is usually causes gold to go down, and gold's actually held up beautifully. In fact, hitting that 2020 double top. So even in spite of that, gold is actually performing very, very well. And what you've seen here is gold broke out. So I think last time we talked about this breakout. And then I think I even said it was likely going to retrace to what I call the scene of the crime, which is the breakout trend line. And look at this, just in the last couple days, gold has done just that. So I've actually added to my gold positions just in the last 24 hours on this premise that this is a very kind of normal retrace before the next move up. And I love kind of explaining it in terms everyone understands. So think about a child, right? A child's at home with their parents. It wants to go out on its own. It wants to go out on its own here. It doesn't do it. Finally, it starts to make more headway, right? It's like, I really need to go out on my own. I'm getting older. It finally goes to college, but what do we know about kids that go to college? I did this. I'm always coming back for Christmas and the holidays, right? So it comes back for Christmas and the holidays, and then it goes out. Eventually, it gets its own place, and it starts living on its own. So very normal retrace going on here in gold, and it should start its next leg up here soon.
Gareth, definitely crazy, crazy times. Thank you for joining us today. Any final thoughts for viewers out there watching?
Just remember, right now we're in a Fed-induced bear market. Eventually, I think a recession later this year into 2022. So bounces should probably be selling opportunities both for crypto in the near term as well as stocks. Lots of opportunities because we get wild swings. But again, you have to be a nimble investor at this point. The days of buy and holds with 3% pullbacks because the Fed was always there to rescue, at least in the near term, are over. You have to recognize that. The faster we recognize it, the safer we will be.